Okay, I think we're also on now on
Yay.
LinkedIn. This is like the first with a special guest done this way, both ways. So hi everybody. Thank you for watching WuWu show, and this is broadcasting live here from Kaohsiung, Taiwan. And today I have a special guest. Thank you, Justin Chen, for watching on Facebook. Today I have a special guest from Florida. And before I go further about him, I'm sure you all read a little bit of my write-up, what he's all about, but we're going to dig deep into details of how he transitioned. But most of all, I think it's important that I love a lot of my special guests where they can share a lot of their specialties and give us tips on how they transition or have multiple passions in their lives and make it happen. Okay, so Christopher, if you can do me a favor,
Yes.
can you turn the volume off on your phone, because I can hear a simultaneous sound. That's okay. That's all right.
Because it's doing kind of funky thing here.
And thank you so much for everybody who's watching us on LinkedIn. If you know Chris or know of Chris or know me, if you feel like this is a good show that you guys want to join us, have questions, please help us like it, share it. We'll be very happy. Because this is Chris's first ever this kind of interview. So he's trying to make it work.
Yeah. Let's do this.
You how to figure it out.
Yeah. Finally.
Chris, I don't know. Chris, are we on live? Oh, no, wait. Yes, we are.
Yeah,
okay.
We're there. Okay. I think cool. I got it.
All right. So before how about do you have it? Chris,
yeah.
Chris is figuring it out. It's okay. So how about while Chris is figuring it out, I'll introduce myself. If you look at my LinkedIn, if you look at my Facebook page, everybody knows me more as a Mandarin Chinese and English bilingual music educator, international music educator, and performer. I'm currently living in Kaohsiung, Taiwan, but I had the honor to do my WuWu show as a live stream with apps, platforms such as 17 Media and Mimi apps. And then I had transitioned now into my own live stream. And basically my live stream is just sharing a lot of knowledge, a lot of culture, and a lot of things that I passionately love. And that's mainly people and places. So I've been blessed to meet a lot of different people, and they also inspire me in many ways. But most importantly, my show is something to give people good heart, good feelings, because I know everything in life right now costs money. But when people are willing to share, it is free. So, I don't say everything is free in life. I tend not to, but sometimes sharing is caring. That's how I look at it. So today I'm so honored to have a great friend of mine who I call brother. We've known each other for, gosh, how long? 15, 16 years.
Oh, easy. Lot. Yeah.
Because I'll let him introduce. Yeah, since the 2000s. That's so crazy. I can't believe it. But let him introduce himself, and then we will go on with our interview today. So, Mike, it's yours, Chris.
Okay, great. Thanks. Well, thank you for asking me to come on. This is the first time I've done something like this. I've been in front of people live and stage, or up in front of a classroom doing lectures and stuff like that, but not here. So it's a little different. Yeah, it's like, as I'm doing this, getting ready before, I was like, I'm not gonna be nervous. No problem. I'm at my house. What could happen, right? So now I'm feeling a little bit, because I'm like, oh my God, all these people watching me. Anyways, I from a very early age got influenced by pop culture and TV and movies when I was probably like about 3 years old, and boy, such a long time ago. 1960s early. I can remember back to 3, which a lot of people can't do that, but I think my parents probably were trying to scare the hell out of me. I don't know. But I just remember being in front of our old black and white TV when I was a little kid. And the first thing I ever remember watching was a monster movie. And ever since then, I was like hooked, you know. And shortly after that, the Batman from the 60s series with Adam West and Burt Ward was on. And I know Burt, so hi, Burt. That transcended a lot of things, because all of a sudden now, instead of black and white, everything was color. So I was like, oh my God, we actually had a color TV set when we made that transition too. But then because I was such a nut about movies and all that, my dad worked at Kodak, and he used to be part of the camera club, and you could rent, back then it was 16 millimeter and 8 millimeter projectors. So I was always trying to find ways to make money to pay for my monster magazines and my records and everything, and comic books. So one day this light bulb went off in my head, and I said, well, geez, my dad can get a camera, the projector, and he can bring movies home, and I can get movies out of the library. And they were all sound films. So they would run like 15, 20 minutes, and they would condense the best parts of all the movies together. So I started running movies in my garage in the summertime to make money. So I turned my garage into a movie theater. So we would put posters up all over the neighborhood, and we had benches and lounge chairs and all that. And we were selling popcorn and Kool-Aid. Back then it was Kool-Aid, of course, and funny things. Not the hard stuff, folks, but learned how to deal with the public at a very young age. And that stuck with me. So later on, when I was going to start working and I had a car and all this stuff, I'm like, let's see, where else could I work besides the grocery store, which I was working at. So
how old were you then, though? But with the grocery store, how old were you?
At the grocery store, let's see, I was working for, this is crazy, when I was 15, this is the thing. This puts us in the 70s. Okay, so if you want to know this, in the 70s, I had a mustache. I looked like I was in college when I was only 13, 14, 15 years old. And I looked like a pre-Thomas Magnum PI. I think me and Tom Selleck had the same look at the same time, except he was doing his cigarette commercials in the Marlboro Man, and I was not. But anyways, I somehow got a connection to Joe Moore Theaters, and they hired me to be an usher. And I'm like, oh, this is great, man. I can work at the movies. I get to go to the movies for free. And then I worked my butt off. And I was probably one of the most mature people that they had there. I mean, because when I wasn't there, I used to I had 3-piece suits. I had Pierre Cardin because I had come from working at the Met shop. In fact, I remember when I was there, I actually sold suits to the drummer for a huge, Spyro Gyra.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, 3-piece suits there. You never knew who was going to come into that store. And I'll never forget that. It was like my best sale. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm actually standing next to one of these guys that's on the radio, you know. But anyways, so I was mature enough that they hired me to do the cleaning too. And then I did such a good job. We used to have midnight shows. And on the midnights, we had to have security. And it was only Fridays and Saturday nights. And you would be surprised how people dressed in the summertime in long jackets that normally wear in the wintertime, because they were trying to bring.
And this is where? This is where
in
you
Rochester,
work?
New York. Yeah.
Rochester, New York. So quickly let everybody know that's how we met in Rochester, New York. Now, which theater in Rochester would you be able to like?
That time it was Joe Moore's, and it was Stoner's Theater, and we had off-duty police that worked the security, and they were short a man And Jack, who ran, I can't think of his last name, but he was a cool guy. He ran that security, and he asked me personally, he says, "You're the only one here that I trust. Would you want to work security on the Midnights with us?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't mind." So I got to do that, and because no one would give me a hard time. You know, if we found booze, we'd say, "Hey, you know, you gotta either we take it or you bring it back to the car. But if you bring it back to the car, we don't let you in."
Gosh, back then it was so it was so much so different.
It was crazy. It was
so
the people
different.
had them in their purses. They cut out special pockets in their jackets to fit the bottles down, and we'd find them, you know, and they'd be clinking as they're walking through the lobby. And by the end of the weekend, we would have enough booze to have a huge party. Sorry, not saying we ever did that. Just saying, but that's how much we had boxes full of this stuff. But anyway, so from there, then my my boss, Mr. Noel, who's a real cool guy, him and I are still friends. I've worked for him on and off for Regal and that, and he asked me if I wanted to be a manager. So next thing I know, I'm a manager. So once I became the manager, I didn't usher. I did some cleaning, but then it got so crazy because in the summer times they wanted you to do double shifts. You had to, it was mandatory. And then they call it summer pay. You got your summer pay at the end of summer. So you were working like 12-hour shifts. And we had ET back then. And that was crazy because now talking about things that are pop culture and iconic, we sold out the preview sneak screening. We had a lot of movie critics there. In fact, that's when I first met Jack Garner, who's retired, but he was a movie critic for Gannett. He was syndicated.
Wow.
He used to show a lot. He was a cool dude. And he said to me, he says, "Chris, I've never been at a premiere like this where, I mean, people were coming out and they had sent us special pins and all kinds of things. And they were the stupidest things. All they had was ET on it, the letters, and it said, 'I saw ET' and purple background. And people were offering us like $20 for these pins. I'm like, okay, this is probably going to be big. From that point on, from the moment it opened, and we had 9 a.m. shows, and it was a summer movie, we sold out every single show from 9 a.m. all the way to the midnight show. So we were getting out of there at 2:30 in the morning. This is back when there was Ground Round, and they used to be open till 3. So when we got out of there, or sometimes they were 4 or 5 in the morning.
Yes.
The whole crew, we went to unwind at Ground Round, and then we'd come home, and then 2 hours later we were back.
You know, just to quickly interrupt a bit, because a lot of times on my Facebook side, I have a lot of younger generations who watch this. I have some young followers on my LinkedIn. You know, just have you to share this much already, even though it's an hour show, we're gonna get to the good part quick, because I've always known Chris being very, very, he's very expressive. So this is part of the story I don't even know, but it's important also because with a lot of young people who watches my show, I want you to understand, you know, there's no easy way to do anything in life. Sometimes it's little habits and little passions that you've had in your life that kind of build it simultaneously, or something just unexpectedly and hit you with that haha moment. And then you either go from corporate world or you do at the same time, then transition in. Chris hasn't stopped doing since his corporate job. I mean, he was a manager, but everything, he's very similar to me in that life where we're both was, we never stopped doing what we love, but then we ended up veering towards, like, you know, we're able to do what we passionately love now.
Right.
Well, he's kind of like, he's lucky. He's kind of half retired, but I'm still hustling, dude. I'm still hustling. So I'm like, you know, able to do what he loves as a, you know, half retired moments and still just going. I want to share something very quickly to everybody. There was a article that I found, and quick shout out to Mr. Paul Safransky from Wisconsin. Thank you for watching on LinkedIn. I give you a like on the comment. Thank you. There was an article out here in Taiwan recently. Someone shared that. Did you guys know, since my LinkedIn followers are older, that 60 and 80, 60 to 80 is the new prime, guys? And they gave a list. I'll translate it up someday and put it up on the post, because they said that a lot of like Nobel Peace Prize winners, a lot of scientists, a lot of famous people, all of them are like around the age of 70. And 80 is kind of like the cut out age where people actually, like, your brain and your whole being is actually at its best between the age of 60 and 80. So I think, Mr. Chris, you're just going at it, not saying that you're 60, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, give me a few months, so that's good though, because that means I'm coming to my
you
prime
look great.
now.
You're just going into your prime. Yes. So I know you have all these great experiences, because I showed the poster, the picture of you dressed up as James Bond. Why don't you share that experience with us?
Oh, that was cool. And then I'll tell you a couple other things that take place prior to that.
Mhm.
But when I was leaving Time Warner, cable. I worked there for 22 and a half years. When I was there,
That's right.
I sold cable door to door. I
Mhm.
sold internet, phone, but I had a column since 87. I started it in the news paper that they used to have that went throughout the system, and it was called Reviews on the Edge. I started that then.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Which is what I still kind of write under that.
Mhm.
But and I used to share, information and write, trivia, and it was all about cable programming. But then I kind of ventured out to start including recent movies, because that meant I could get the invites to all the screenings. But anyways,
Yes.
so when I left there, this is going back. Here's a piece of advice: never burn bridges. If you're going to leave a company, hopefully you
leave it
leave
gracefully.
it. Let's hope you left it. They didn't get rid of you. Okay, let's put it that way. You
Okay.
didn't let go. You let go of them
Mhm.
in a good way. So Mr. Knoll and I had always had a great relationship, whether it was working for him or not. So when I left there, I did insurance for a little bit. Never sell insurance, life insurance. Don't do it. I'm just telling you, please, for your own sake. It'll drive you nuts. But anyways, so I reached out to him, and he got me into Regal. So I went and I'm back to doing the movies and all that. But I got in as a manager right away, and I used to run the box. And I right away made it known that I like to do promotions and stuff like that.
Great.
So I got in with not the GM, but the next in line, Louis, and there was a couple other people that were doing promos, and so they let me do Surf's Up, which is the animated film with the penguins.
Yeah.
So you'll appreciate this. So I'm one of those people. I go all out.
Wow.
When I plan something, I can't help it. So I did a promo. We did a whole weekend of opening weekend. I got a muscle car into the lobby. We had a big enough lobby. We could drive through the mall, park a car in the lobby. We had a surfboard sticking out of it. I had a table set up with all kinds of stuff from different book companies that were putting things out about surfing and all that, and anything to do with cars. And I then made a call to the local zoo, and someone must have told me that they had a penguin zoo. So I got permission to use it for the whole weekend. And then your buddy Ian from Nick and the Nice Guys.
Oh my God, my friend Ian?
Yes.
Oh wow.
He had a band on his own besides doing Nick. And I said, hey, how would you like to get a gig where you play in our lobby? And I might not be able to give you cash, but we can give you a whole bunch of free movie tickets. So all the guys love movies. So that's how I got them. I think I gave like $250 to $300 worth of movie tickets.
Oh my gosh.
And they came, and it was great because we took the lobby, we decorated it, the concession stand, we turned it into a tiki bar. We took the side dining area and turned it into a beach. We took a pillar and it became a palm tree. And we took the wall behind it and it was the ocean. We had all kinds of stuff in there.
Wow.
We brought real sand in. So Ian and the guys are playing on sand. Everyone got to wear Hawaiian shirts. It was great because I didn't want to dress up. I didn't want to wear a suit and tie. So I finagled that we could get the Hawaiian shirts. Which was awesome. Girls and guys, and they had a blast. So the funny thing is, I fit inside that penguin costume.
I didn't get to put that picture out for everyone.
So
maybe after,
I was the penguin for most of the time during that weekend. And the other thing is, we took we had marketing all over in the different stores, and we cross promoted them, the stores in the mall. And underneath certain seats of where you sat down during shows, we would give prizes out. So if you had a special number underneath your seat, you won something, which was so cool. And then we had one other person that could fit in the penguin suit if I wasn't there, because I wasn't going to work 24 hours a day for 3 days. There was no way. But so we did that, and unbeknownst to me, I had gotten out of the suit to take a break, and Ian grabs me, and he goes, "Hey, I want you to come up here and sing with us."
You love
and
to
no
sing.
one in the theater that worked there knew that I can somewhat sing. So ironically, they had been practicing the "We Just Disagree" song that I always open up with when we do karaoke, and that's what we sing.
I was gonna say, because
I knew it by heart. I had to sing that song.
Well, now everybody knows. Me and Chris met. We had a big group of friends. Like there was 10 or 20 of us. And we all would like a ritual weekend was, well, they'll come see me when I'm bartending, or the ritual weekend was everybody, because I always teach piano late. So after they'll go have their dinner first, and then I'll do my own dinner, and then we all meet somewhere for like a quick, like a first cocktail. Or there was one time me and Chris, I forgot, I think we went to see Spider-Man, and we snuck. We shouldn't be saying this, but we did. We snuck.
Yeah, we went to the midnight that night. I remember that.
Yeah, we had a quick kind of like a quick pregame for us. Then met everybody down St. Paul Street where there was a strip. And we just, what was the name of that bar again? And we were doing karaoke.
Oh, it was Soho's? And,
not Soho's. No.
But
next
this
to
was
Tapas.
The one on
the one next to
Tapas. The one that had the upstairs with the dance floor, and they had the outdoor. They had a sky roof bar, and they had an elevator at the bottom. You walked up the stairs to get in on the top. That's the only one I remember. That was on a side street.
Yeah, and, yes, I know we went to the side street one.
Are you thinking of Tapas?
The one next to Tapas. I forgot the name of that bar. That was where the Friday night karaoke bar. We usually go there. Yes. And then there was another place that we go down University, I think. Okay, that's beside the question. But here's the thing, though, Wall. Now that you did that, and also obviously I can tell James Bond for Solace, the movie
awesome.
was probably also a marketing and kind of like a promotional thing that you do. And what I love about Chris's, since I've known him to also me moving to Taiwan and follow him on his journeys, is that he's very creative and he makes things on the marketing sales. I find me and him very similar in that light where I'm sure when I say this, Chris, you'll understand. Like if I have to make something work, I usually would never ask my boss to spend a lot of money. I see something around and I go, boom, boom. That's where I would use and save the money so that we can make a great, like, production of some sort of marketing. But now let's go to, because I really want people to know. And please look up to his Medium account. And you'll see on the link on the post, I already put it up there. There's 2 links. One is his Medium account. Go follow him. He's a great writer. And he do great reviews. He always reviews these, or he writes these articles on pop culture and old movie and old songs I've never heard of. That I'm trying to clear that I'm young and you're old. No, I'm just kidding. I just don't know. Seriously, Cindy, have you seen
Well, I'll
those?
tell you,
No.
Cindy, so you're
Yeah,
still on my good list. I haven't
I
taken
know,
you
I
off
know.
my bad list yet, but keep going. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, you're going to go. I wanted to share this pic with everyone because if you're in Florida and if Orlando isn't too far for you, there's a wonderful. I'm a big entertainment art um promote kind of like supporter, and there's an Orlando International Film Festival that's coming up, and this year they are gearing towards more younger directors and younger artists, and it's important that we share and support our next generation. And I understand why Chris is being asked as a guest speaker to basically inspire and share what pop culture for us then to the newer generation. And I find that very interesting. And I know, Chris, there was a reason why, Chris, you actually ended up moving from Rochester to Florida while I was moving from Rochester to Taiwan. And is that okay for you to share a little bit with
Oh
everyone?
yeah. My dad had passed away, and my mom was down here, and the relatives that we had living here at the time that were, basically like aunts and uncles, they also had passed away. So she was kind of down here all by herself. And I had a very flexible schedule. I ended up coming down here with Regal and just kept working for them down here. And now she's going to be 94 years old in November.
God bless you.
Still going like the little Energizer bunny, but I'd say she's probably more like driving Miss Daisy. So, which I tell her every once in a while. You have to keep her in check.
Well, you know what? Now I know where to get it from.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She's got a good sense of humor, thank God. But it's dry, very dry sense.
Okay.
That comes from the other side of the family too, my dad's side.
No. Okay. Now with the how you move home, taking care of your mom, and I also knew during that time COVID hit and we were staying in contact because you were really great at assisting with my project for Sunny Girls Dream World. Let's talk about how did you get into the I want to talk about Julie more towards the end of the project that you guys are doing. But before Julie, I like to talk about how did you circulate and market it? And in some ways, in Florida, how did you get yourself into this circuit of all the entertainment and the writings and sort? If you don't mind sharing that with us.
No, not at all. I was working for a company. After I left Regal, I decided I'm going to work from home. So I was working for this company called Alpine Access. And they do work for like Sprint and Xbox. So I got in on the Sprint program, and then I moved to the Xbox, and then I decided to leave there because it's funny when I think of customer service, I'm one of those people that I get on a call and I don't want to get off the call until I know the person's everything's totally resolved, and their concept is a little different than that. It's like you show them one little thing, you let them get off the phone, they can try it. If they have a problem, they call back. And I resolved every call that came in, but I was doing less calls because of that. So I said, all right, I'm going to go back to writing. And a very good friend of mine, and if you may know Herbie J. Pilato. He used to hang out with us with George and karaoke and all that.
Yeah.
This guy's like me. We grew up in kind of the same time period. He's done a lot more entertainment wise. And he started writing a lot earlier than I did. And he's published, I mean, like 15 books. So he had a new book out, and I reached out to him when I knew I was going to do writing again. And I was using Facebook to get, this was before LinkedIn. You know, I was even on LinkedIn at the time, I don't think. I'm trying to think when I finally got on LinkedIn. This is going back 4 years ago. This is prior to COVID. So we did a series of phone calls and stuff, and just to test things out. And I did a review of his new book that he had at the time. And I don't know if I republished his article on Medium, but it's on LinkedIn and Facebook. I should redo that. I've got to call him anyway. So then I got a connection with David DeVal, who's
wonderful
film critic, and he lives out in the San Francisco area. So I did an interview with him, and then I met David Schechter through Facebook. Also, a lot of the stuff was all Facebook at the time. And I created the reviews on the Edge page and all that. And I was one of those guys. In fact, I have two in a drawer right now, digital recorders. I don't even people even use those anymore. But I used to bring them around to conventions and that. And I still have one that's filled with an unpublished interview with Erin Gray from Buck Rogers TV series. She was so cool. And that's a story I could love to share, because it's soon I'm gonna do the archived.
Do it. I'll come in. We'll interview it again. Yeah.
Because when I do that, there is a tremendous amount of wisdom that she shared with me for people starting out doing modeling and acting, and it's all about business etiquette, which some people don't understand right now. You know that it's from years ago. But so I had done that a long time ago, and I forgot I had this digital recorder. So then I stumbled across it. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to start doing these phone calls and record them, because then I can write at my leisure based on whatever they tell me, and then I can store them if I want to go back, or someday I want to share the recorded part. So I did that with David, and then I met another good friend of mine who was up in Connecticut, Cortland Hull, and he is the great nephew of the fantastic actor Henry Hull, who was the first werewolf on film in Werewolf of London from the early 1930s.
Are you serious? Oh wow.
Yeah.
We're talking really legendary people here.
He has an aunt who was nominated a couple times for an Oscar. She was in the movie Harvey with Jimmy Stewart. She was in Arsenic and Old Lace with Cary Grant. She always played an aunt of someone. But in the background, she was a Broadway producer, female Broadway producer in the 40s. So people don't know. So
how progressive.
I wrote a 15-page article about him, because I moved from not just posting stuff on here. I started writing for a magazine called Wang's Chop, which is the weirdest name in the world for a magazine, but it's all pop culture and international cinema, and they're still out there. I did about 5 or 6 books, because it's published in book form, because it's like bi-monthly. So sometimes it's like 200 pages, and they do a black and white and a color version. So I have to plug that. So thanks, Tony. But they started publishing my stuff, besides me publishing here. The problem was that I was writing at such a pace at the time that, and because they were only bi-monthly, okay, I had like 80 articles done and they only published 10 of them. So I had 70 articles sitting around. I'm like, what am I going to do with these articles? So that's when I started to really use LinkedIn. That's when I don't know when I joined, but I got on there because they had a great format to put articles in, and I could click and I could paste,
and share
video
basically,
and audio, and make the articles interactive. That's what I wanted to do. I didn't want it to just be the written word. I wanted visual. I wanted audio.
Wow.
So after doing a few issues there, I just kind of stopped sending my stuff to them, even though I could at any time send them something and they would publish it. But I started to realize that people, I mean, it's not just the written word, it's the visual medium also. Now, things have changed so much. We're not using paper anymore as much. I still read books. I still like paper. I still like the physical,
I like the smell. I know people think I'm crazy.
Yeah.
I love opening an old book and smell it. I like that feeling. For me.
What I started to do then is, besides making all these connections, and I could go on and on with all the people that I know, but I'm going to stop for that part of it for now. And I have a bazillion stories with that, but I took, I'm one of those people, at least with my writing, if you got something, to critique, I can take it. I'm tough. Tell me what it is, I'm not a person that, when I write though,
Chris, I think you got out. You got out of the Facebook.
I had been out and I'm in. I'm back. They keep pulling me back in. It's like the Godfather movies. Just when I thought I was getting out. Anyways, so I started to build a reference library, and I also started reaching out to, instead of just doing interviews with all these people, I started to reach out to the home entertainment companies, book publishing companies, the Blu-ray, DVD companies, music companies, Varis Sarabon, which is a great music company. I have an excellent connection there. I still like vinyl. I still listen to vinyl, and thank God
I can see you.
Come back.
I can see you as a vinyl guy. I can
do
that.
I have a record player right there. I got a Crossley. Believe it or not, they still make them, and and they're better now. We could talk music for.
We got to talk music another time, because we want to. I want to get to where all these great adventures and people. Obviously, I'm gonna sum it really quickly as well, is because I know Chris. He's worked hard, and one thing about him that I always love is not be able to be afraid to connect people, to talk to people. And it's like, this is because, you know what, and you only have 2 minutes to talk about it, because I know once I ask you to talk about it, he's going to take 20 minutes. But
probably
he wanted to give one really awesome story. Okay, he used to do, because when he was in Warner Brothers, he used to do cold calls, and newer generation does not know what that feels like when you have to go to door, or even just have to call like sales or anything. So can you share one of the story, because I could tell when you got to your older age, because you went through that, to you just hooking somebody up on LinkedIn, connecting with them is nothing to you, compared to like old calls.
When I started working for Time Warner, it wasn't even Time Warner. It was ATC Communications, and then they became Greater Rochester Cablevision Office. And this is what's cool, is I'm also working on a TV series about all my adventures at cable.
That's right.
If I told you the things that happened to me, you'd say that sounds like a movie, but I'm kidding you not. It's not a movie. And it would be an action buddy comedy. And that's what I'm aiming for, but a big one, because I worked with like motley crew people. I knew nothing. I came from a farm community. I was the shyest person in the world, if you can believe that.
No. People didn't believe I was shy
anymore.
too.
That was thanks to a Cancun trip a few years ago, but we won't go into that. Anyways, so back then, which I don't even know if they do this anymore, but we were door-to-door sales. We didn't have hardly any ID that even said who we were back then. And that was scary. Anything that I could wear that either said HBO or Cinemax, I would. And there was a time also when we did this that besides cold call, and this is why I'm not so shy anymore, is you had to go out and talk to people. If you couldn't get them to buy you, it wasn't the product at first. You have probably about 10 to 15 seconds when you're at the door to get someone to like you or to listen to you. After that, you're going to probably lose them. They're going to probably say, oh, tomorrow, another day, I'll call you.
Yeah.
Whatever. So that was a big part of it. But, and they don't do this anymore at all. It goes back to a couple of things that happened to me. But we used to do collections too, and that is tough. And one of the times, and this was, Rochester was a growing Hispanic community at the time. A few years later, 10 years later, the Asian population started to grow. So I'm learning about encountering people that maybe don't speak as much English, obviously, as I do. So I had to go to this, I can tell you the street, Evergreen Street. I'll never forget it. I had my 1972 green Nova with the sound system that me and my buddy Zach put in, and we had 8-track players back then. So you figured this out, okay? How long ago that was, but early 80s maybe. And I love that car. I want that car back, 1972 Nova. Anyone got one out there, let me know. But anyways, it was a 2-door. So you had these long windows, and there was no remote to open your car door. There was no remote to make the windows go down. And it was a freaking hot day. And I pulled up to this house, and this was a collections call. And they had, it was in the city. So they have all these bushes around, two sets of bushes, one out in the front by the sidewalk near the street. Okay, you had a little gateway you went through. Then you had another set of bushes around the porch, because everyone had porches. This was a 3-story house. And I knocked, I don't know, they let me in the front door, as a matter of fact. And it was, when you walked in, you had a stairway right away going up. And the kitchen was in the back of the house. And you walked through this hallway, and you were either going to go to the kitchen or you were going to make a left turn, which brought you into like a dining area / living room, and then another set of stairs beyond that. This was a really cool house. And so people that let me in, and I find out that it's 3 generations of Hispanic people living there, okay? So you got the younger generation, they speak English, but
English,
not they're with an accent. The next generation, they're really iffy, and anyone from the 3rd generation, it was
basically they're just native Spanish families.
I explained to them what I'm doing, and if they couldn't pay at the time, we had to get the box. So and unfortunately they weren't able to. So I go into the living room, and there's a older woman that would be like a grandmother, okay? And she's there in like a hospital bed. She's got this TV. It's an old-fashioned remote, and we had the cable boxes that had these long cords on them attached to another box, and it was a slider. So you would leave your TV on one channel and use the slider. So I don't know how long they had the cable. The remote was only used to turn the TV on and off, never to change the channels anymore. The remote looked like this, like, hey, Kirk, the Enterprise, like the Star Trek. Okay. So anyways, I was going to put that in there. I love Star Trek. Anyway, so they come in with me. They explain the situation to the grandmother, and she's okay. I was a little nervous, because I really wasn't happy about having to do this. It was not my favorite part of the job at all. And eventually we stopped doing this. But so I get everything disconnected from there, and I hook everything back up the way that the television would work at that point. So I checking everything, it turns on and off and all that. And I hand this woman back the remote, and she clicks it to change the channel to one of the channels she likes. And what happens, and I was not prepared for this at all. These were dials that you normally would go this way. Okay, and you had two of them. You had the UHF dial below, and you had the.
Oh my God, that's an old TV.
Yes.
That's
yes.
This is like ancient old.
She hits that remote, and the dial keeps spinning and spinning. It wouldn't lock on a channel. It hadn't been used in so long, and I couldn't set things back the way they were. And I'm trying to communicate with her in English and explain what's going on. And next thing I know, she yells something that to me, it sounded like bloody murder in Spanish. I don't know what she said, but I heard commotion from all over that house. People were grabbing pots and pans, everything. And I'm like, I had the work order signed. I got the box. I'm like, I am getting out of here. I come out, I go back through all this. And thank God I remembered how I got into the house and I could get back out. As I'm rounding that one corridor coming out of the living room, dining room area, I see people in the back
my goodness.
with pots and pans in their hands, and they're yelling at me also. And I'm like, oh my God. So I don't even look back. I'm doing like they tell you when a bear is chasing you, don't turn back, just keep running, or an alligator, just climb that tree. So anyways, I go flying through the front door. I don't even take the time to do the steps. I leap over the railing and the hedges. I jump over the second set of hedges. I land on the sidewalk next to my car. I had left the window open, rolled all the way down. I dove into the passenger side, just like Dukes of Hazzard. And I get into my driver's side, and they're out on the porch. They're just screaming everything. I felt so bad. And I just turned that car on and I was gone. So that is my encounter with English, and I was like, oh my God, how do I do this?
He's definitely got a few, but just because he's saying this, I'm just gonna let everybody know. This is now the section. Well, it was perfect because I couldn't find a better story for him to talk about it. To get into this segment, because this is actually being in the works right now with producers trying to make it into a TV series. And amongst other projects of Chris and some of the projects that he will be doing with me. And congratulations, Chris. He's getting married in October. I can't be there.
So yes, thank you.
I'm so sorry.
It's to a really
if anyone's, it's going to be
lady.
Great, babe. You guys postponed it a bit. Now COVID's a little better. If anyone who's watching it just now, I'm just letting you know, I'm broadcasting it live here in Kaohsiung, Taiwan. Here's my really good friend living in Florida. And where are you going to get married at?
It's going to be in Port Orange, where we live, in this really incredible place that's called the Estate on the Halifax. And there are like several buildings that are like various years from like 1914 and up. They actually have a real railroad car that belonged to the grandfather. I mean, it's just cool. There are ponds all over, loaded with koi. I mean, like huge.
Well, take
So,
lots of pictures and videos. What
oh
I
yeah,
love about this wedding is they're making it a Halloween wedding.
oh yeah.
So like I wanted to be there. Like I need I literally I forgot who asked me this question. It's like, how do I feel lately about myself? It's like, I do not feel sexy anymore. And then
Oh,
like I always feel like because I feel like a teacher all the time. So just to every year for a long time. Oh, I don't know why there's a hand up there. Every year for a long time, we always get dressed up for Halloween, even when we
yeah.
were like back then when we were in Rochester.
Oh yeah.
So it's funny how just having a wonderful wedding like that. I'm so jealous. I'm sorry I can't be there, but let's talk
Hey,
about his beautiful wife. Yeah, she
oh, gee,
yeah. Why don't I let you give her a little introduction? I'd love to
yeah.
interview her soon. I know you guys are busy with wedding and her work and her project. Once that's done, I would love to talk to her. And
Cool.
go
So,
ahead, Miss Julie.
all Julie is, aside from being amazing, and I have to kid her because she's only 4'9", but she thinks she's 4'11". So I have to reach for everything. But anyways, she is definitely the epitome of the definition of the word survivor. She was for approximately about 6 to 8 years of her life in a death camp in Cambodia. And she luckily was with her grandparents, and that was just by luck that they ended up in there together. But she went through some incredible things trying to survive. So she didn't have like a normal childhood. After
Yeah.
3 to 4, that was it, she has a book out that's all about it called The Voice from the White Horse. And it's one of those ones that I can tell you that you'll laugh a few times, but you're gonna definitely cry a little bit. And it was hard for me to read it because I knew her too personally. So when this happened, because I didn't know all this information before that. So she survived and came here in 1985. So the 80s are a very important time for her. I mean, just like for us with music, and she really relates to music. I mean, 85 was the year that Live Aid was out on MTV, and
yeah,
it was
I
a culture
immigrated.
shock for her. I mean,
I immigrated in 1985 as well. 85 for me as well.
Yeah, that was a great time for cable, great time for
Everything.
MTV, great time for music. I mean, and that's mostly half the time is the songs that we're singing when we're out doing karaoke anyways, is from the 80s. That's, in fact, most of the music. I listen to a ton of music when I write for influence, and it's kind of like my muse besides, like pop culture icon images. But so she had to learn all about speak English. She had to understand and speak enough, and I don't know what the requirements were to get here, to come to the US. But then she had to learn a new culture. And also, she was 10 then. So, a few years later, now we're talking about your teens. So she's got coming up with that kind of, you get the peer pressure then. She's got 2
Isn't she writing
brothers.
a book now? Her book
Yeah,
too is
actually,
about her
the second
going
one,
through the second book.
Yeah, that's going to be cool. Now there is a lot of funny parts in that. That is a definitely happier time, but also, and I'm on chapter 10 editing. It's all written. I just got to finish editing it. So I try to do that in between all the other things I'm doing. So, but she got into music and dancing and martial arts during that time period. And that's probably what kept her going.
Alive.
A lot. She had 3 things that she was passionate about, aside from having to learn this whole new life. And she was living in Philadelphia, the crazy streets of Philadelphia at the time. Also, which you read the book, you'll find out.
But I find it so fascinating, her just not being just a survivor herself. I mean, she's got one of the best sellers for her books. And then she is now in Hollywood filming as well. She's doing a couple like roles, and let's talk a little bit about that. Like she's really good at it.
She decided at some point after working for her uncle, this is really funny, at a restaurant, and a lot of people used to come in to get like egg rolls and all this stuff. She says, all right, I'm done with this. I'm going to go to California. And she decides to move to California, and I'm going to just pursue this. I want, the book, I want to make a movie out of it and all this. So she moves there, and she got into central casting a little bit later on. Because when she first got there, it was really the book and plugging it. She met some really great guy named Keith Viker who helped her write the first book. And she did her own marketing for it. Went on tons of shows. You'll see pictures on her website and that with people like Larry King and that. And then, and she was still doing the martial arts. And thanks to that, she met a lot of people. So those 2 things, she stayed with the martial arts and then just put everything into writing the book. And she did every kind of job you can imagine until the central casting thing came up. And she decided she really doesn't want to be like the major star of anything. She likes the background acting, although she has a couple things, potential coming up on being more in front, the forefront. But she actually was in a movie with Chris Pine called Stretch, which is a hilarious comedy, and about a guy that's a limo driver. He's not a limo driver though. Chris Pine is a nut case in this movie. The guy that plays Orm in Aquaman with Jason Momoa, he is the star of that film.
Okay.
And she did background. She said that they were all nuts on that film. Chris Pine just likes to crack people up, and then from there, she worked on Mom, and she did a couple other shows, and then there was a lull for a little bit of time. And then she got this call from Netflix to be in this show called Medical Police, which is done by the same people that did the Children's Hospital series. So it's not totally serious. And they took 2 characters from the Children's Hospital, and they became part of this Med Police. And they were able to get all this done before COVID hit. And then obviously after that changed things. In fact, that's even what still is holding up the 2nd season for Medical Police. She's in 2 episodes of Medical Police where she is a prisoner. And they just liked her attitude about it. So when the 2nd season comes back, she's supposed to be more of a recurring character in there. So you'll learn more about that character that she plays.
Oh, amazing. So happy for her. Yeah.
So that's
and
cool.
YouTube right now, it's like YouTube's got a lot of like projects coming up together, and they were very sweet. Some of the projects that I'm involved, and so I'm a patient girl, very patient girl, that. But I think things happen in many amazing ways, and sometimes you just have to keep believing. And I believe there are also good people out there. Once you put your heart to it and just keep living, keep doing, everything always fall into places. All right.
Agree.
Well, today, before we go, I
All
told
right.
you I was going to share 7 questions,
Okay.
and you weren't supposed to practice on it.
No, and I didn't.
So bad. You did. I didn't give it to you.
No,
So,
no.
these 7 questions I ask all my guests at the end of the show. And what these 7 questions has been researched by me, that it's something profound, I believe will be something useful to your own personal life. So I'm going to have you answer these questions
Okay.
also for our audience to get to know you more, because you've just been talking like fun stuff. I think even today, I think people found out more about me, like, Cindy Wu, can't imagine you bringing beers into a movie theater, snuck it in. And I'm like, yeah, but I was even drinking it with a straw. So nobody was.
And I didn't bring that up. You brought that up. Just
I know, I
letting
was kind of
everyone know.
Yeah, you were the good, like, because we were like, because you thought that we were going to meet our friends and we didn't want to
That
be
is true.
too drunk, right? And I'm like, dude, you're going to be driving. So I got a little told. It was great. Spider-Man, like, Blur.
Well, that was, yeah, I agree.
We had fun. And
Yeah.
we just sang our heart out afterward. There was no fear. There was
fun.
nothing else. It was fun night. Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
question number 1.
Yes.
What's happiness to you?
Ah, boy. That is a good one. Out of everything, I'm going to say family.
Wonderful. Well, you know what? You're doing that now. So
Yeah.
you've been doing that. So that's a good one. Okay. Family time, family. Okay. Cool.
Besides that would be writing. Family, writing.
Family and writing. Wonderful.
Yeah.
You can have, it's your answers. So, okay. All right, sweetie. Number 2. What change would you like to see of the world?
That is a great question. And I'm going to say, I think for everyone in general to realize that we are all one.
Yes.
That's my point. I've seen a lot of changes over the last few years, and I had some crazy things happen to me even in the last couple of weeks. And, it's like, if you cut me, I bleed red. You bleed red. Everyone bleeds red. We're all the same. So we could get so much more done. The planet would be much better off if we all, agreed that we are all the same. We all have the same needs. We all got to eat, sleep, everything else, and in between, and take care of the planet. So that's my answer.
I agree. That's a very good one. Now, number 3, if you could change one thing about your life, what would it be and why?
Okay. I probably would have shaved my mustache off earlier.
But that was your signature look. I need to see. You gotta show me a picture
for an answer. There was. Hey, I used to have an afro, like the Hair Bear Bunch from the 70s cartoon, and I hung around with 3 other guys that had hair like that, and we were all.
You guys send me a picture. I want to see it.
And it was all natural. We didn't go have our hair done. That's a tough question. Other than that,
okay,
I'm half serious on that.
I know you
for
are.
a reason. What's really funny is a 10-year-old kid told me to lose my mustache. He was over a good friend of Dave Speedy's and I, who does plumbing. Used to bring his son over to the house on the weekends when we were having plumbing done, because he loved watching. I had a giant television, like 60 to 70 inches, and I would let him watch anything he wants. So he could, every time there was something to be done at the house, he's like, Dad, I got to go with you. So then I could sit and watch, because I would let him put stuff in he knew how to do. So one day, as I'm getting ready to go to work, he comes out and he says, and this is a 12-year-old talking, right? He goes, Chris, can I give you some advice? I'm like, this is going to be good, right? I'm like, yeah. He says, I think you should lose the mustache.
I don't remember you with the
And I'm just
mustache
kidding.
either.
Because you didn't know me then. It was funny. And I said, I'm going to go with that. I figured this kid probably knows more than I do about the world. And I got rid of it. That was it.
Okay.
Never went
Okay.
back. So,
All right. All right.
But, next
Let's
question.
Go. Okay. Number 4. What's your favorite sound?
Oh, man. Favorite.
Mm.
Aside from like music, just a sound in general?
Yeah, like sound in general.
Wow. There are a few. I will tell you, I'm going to give you 3.
Okay.
Because I can't just narrow it down to one.
Sure.
Distant trains, the whistle, the background.
Ooh.
Thunderstorms.
That's like stay home in bed. Don't go out there.
Yeah. And I mean, where I live is like the bird and insect capital of the world. Aside, especially like dragonflies. Unfortunately, they don't make a lot of noise, but there's tons of birds around, so I like that. And that's it.
That's pretty. Oh, well, that's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot. I have your 2, the bird sounds, like the nature, and the thunder sound. I haven't heard anyone said that, so that's cool. Very cool. They're from the people that I interview. Okay, next, number 5. What's your favorite color?
Okay. I'm going to give you 2 on this one. Blue and green.
You're still, but why do I think you used to like a different color? Didn't you like yellow before?
Well, yeah, I mean, I could go. I mean, yellow works too. It was funny because when I was a kid, I was growing up, it was kind of red, or at least I thought it was red.
I remember you were red.
But I think I was confused. It was the old Spider-Man costume. It's blue and red. And then I came to find out, I think it was more the blue end of it. I'm not so much.
Okay.
But yellow was good. But see, yellow, green, they are comparable colors and mixtures. So and blue.
Okay. Well, you know what? When people say blue, if it comes to blue for you now, you're in a very serene place in your life right now. You're kind of chill.
That is true.
Okay. People say, like, this is why I told you these questions. I had studied them for special people. Okay. All right. Number 6. We got 2 more left. Okay. Number 6. Your favorite time of the day.
Oh, man. Morning is good, depending on what time I have to get up. But because that's when I do my writing.
Yeah.
So that is extremely beneficial for me. Herbie J, again, I go back to him. But when he writes, he says, Chris, no longer than 11 o'clock in the morning, I'm done. 11 o'clock hits, I'm out promoting or whatever, but I can't write anymore unless he's working on it, which I took that to heart. And I started, I don't do it as much now because of circumstances, but I used to get up at like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. I would dive right into writing as soon as I had breakfast. I'd knock an article out, within a couple hours. Because other than that, I do like my downtime, like in the evening, because I'm one of those people, I either read something or I watch something. And I have one of those people that when I go to bed, whatever I just read or whatever I just watched, it's still in my head. Sometimes I wake up with an idea when I get up the next morning,
my creativity, I don't share this often, but my most creative time is 3 a.m. I've gotten up at 3 a.m. and I'm like, my brain just like filled with ideas, or I can't go to bed, and by around 3 I'm like, ding, 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 and I have to go write
Julie's
down.
like that. Julie is one of the people that does that. So
it's hard when I'm teaching because I can't afford losing those sleeps. But I feel like, since I've been teaching full schedule now, my creativity juice is gone like dry because I don't have enough time. It's like all that it just sucks out of me, or even trying to feel like outside of a teacher. I heard
it will, yeah. If you just have to get back into that routine. Sometimes in a few days, even it will come back. I've had my moments where I go in and out, of that, and I'm like, sometimes I have to take a break. I have like, if you were looking on my Medium account from my side of what I see, I have stories that are published, and I have stories in the works. I probably have 40 articles that are all in different stages.
Wow.
And what I do is I go back, depending on my mood, go back and finish them, unless I have something pressing. Like if I get something from, say, these guys, and I gotta hold this up only for one reason. Girls on Film. Alicia.
Oh, amazing.
She's from Turner Classic Movies, and she's one of the hosts. But when I get stuff like this, usually they're hoping to write about it fairly quick.
Yeah, of course.
And she's an interesting person because every once in a while you find someone that's kind of like your mindset, but she can go back to 3 years old and remember what she first watched.
I don't think I can do that.
For her, the never-ending story that tells you how old she is, because she's younger, But so when I get something like that, then I kind of have a deadline. Otherwise, I kind of pick and choose what I want to write about, which I like that part of it. That's my rebellious side to say, okay, well, you can't tell me when it's due. I tell me when it's due, basically. So.
All right, here we go. I got one more for you. Number 7, what would be a favorite day for yourself? What I mean is, if you don't have to worry about time, schedule, or anybody, it's just a day for you yourself. What would that favorite day be looking like?
Okay. I'll give you 3 scenarios on that.
Okay.
One would be me going to like Tampa Bay, and there's I haven't gotten there yet. I'm always driving by this place, but there is a physical brick and mortar store there that has all kinds of stuff about pop culture, which I've been wanting to go to. So, because I like to go out and see the physical, like you say, like holding a book or a record, and we still say that. There's not too many places like that anymore. That that you can do that, or maybe on a Friday because it's music release day, go down to the record shop, which we actually have a functioning record store in Daytona Beach, a pretty famous one. And either flip through the new stuff or used. I don't care what it is. If I find something that might be for work or whatever. I like to work out. So that's like a huge thing to me. And I don't think it's a workout though, as I'm trying to get back into my soccer shape, I try to run the quote hills that we have in Florida. But there are a few around, the beach maybe. So like an outdoors kind of thing. And obviously I hope that Julie's available to do these things with me, because
of course,
she better be. But anyways, not. And then I'm still the big kid, so I like the theme parks, and since I live in Florida, I can't help but I could go there a million times and go to either Walt Disney World or do Universal Studios.
Nice. I haven't been to any of those, so that would be something to go check it out if I ever come visit. Yeah, I'd love to.
Those were the big things. And I would throw reading in there too, but I try to do enough of that, that and it's fun.
Well, reason why I asked this last question as being very important is that we all go through pivotal points in our lives, and we some people who are very good about bundling their stress. So remember these questions that I have asked, especially what's your favorite day. If you can make it a day for yourself, doesn't have to be tomorrow, but make it a day and do that. It does lift your soul up so much that you will actually feel you rewind yourself into doing something else, and then you will have another goal for what would be your next favorite day. Something to think about.
That, and I have to say one more thing about that, because my boss, Mike Cardone, who not my boss anymore, but if he's watching this, Mike, hi, because he's on Facebook, him and his family and all that. He'll probably be, oh my God, he actually learned something from me. Mike, one day in a meeting, and I started practicing this wholeheartedly, especially with sales, because sales at the time when we were doing that, we had a small base. It was all commission. We got like maybe $200 a week or whatever, and that wasn't really going to go far. So we really had to push. So he had this philosophy about one day during the week, no matter what is going on, you go out and get yourself something. Doesn't matter the cost of it. Okay. It could be that coffee, or that frappuccino from Starbucks, and you're just sitting there, just sitting back, chilling, not thinking about anything. Or you go buy a book or whatever it is. You treat yourself. That's basically what it is. And I do that every week still. So I don't care what it is. I find something, little to say, hey, I just rewarded myself, because you have to do that sometimes.
Yeah, I do it. I do it with food.
Oh, there you go.
Food and good red wine.
That's another passion of mine, and Julie's more than mine, but because she is a fantastic cook. So
yeah, I've seen her cooking on
oh my God,
on some of her posts. It's like delish. Yeah, I definitely, I promise you guys, because the COVID was so bad. Now the gate's open, my doctor advice. I'm just trying to take it easy this year. I got so much going on with school. So hopefully soon, just to let our audience know that Chris is also representing me pretty much, that if there's any future for me to come and talk about international, bridging the East and the West, but mostly becoming more global, together as one. Through education, cultural, or music, what I do, I sing. We're gonna try to get me to probably Florida first, since he lives there, and I would get to be, close to my friends. So come Florida for some film festival, do some guest speaking and something. So hopefully, y'all might see me there. But outside of that, I want to just say a personal thank you to you, and I'm actually so happy. I don't know who these people are, but thank you everybody on LinkedIn. There are people watching, and you guys didn't even go away, except for Mr. Paul Spronsky. He had to go to work, and he even typed that he was leaving, and he said it was a great show. So I thought it was very nice of him. So we had 4 people watching. Thank you. I'm a very, very, very happily, easily accepting girl. 4 is better than 0. So thank you so much, people, for not even leaving. And Lincoln, our Facebook page was 3 to 4 people in and out. So which it's to me is not a big deal. I was so much more excited about Lincoln today for you, Chris. And everybody, if you are in Florida, check this guy out. Today is kind of like his pre-pop culture keynote guest speaker for this International Film Festival, but I think we went into more of a personal conversation.
To give that a quick plug, and Yolanda Noli, Miss Yolanda, I have to say this. Thank you for asking me, because she asked me to be part of this. But it starts tomorrow, July 9th. It goes through the 15th. But this is the 3rd annual Orlando International Film Festival, and it's part of the sponsorship it comes from the Lions Club. It's geared towards younger people, trying to get young people involved in filmmaking, encourage them. This year there's like over 400 films entered in this film festival.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and from all over the place, which is great. And the cool thing is they've already got next year planned, which is going to be in June. And there's early entries and sites, and you and I will talk about that, because I'm going to
we'll talk.
gathering tons of information when I go, because I've never been there before.
Okay.
Like I said, this is their third year, and I haven't even been there yet, and I'm wanting to go back again and again and again, because I like to talk, of course. Not just about me, but I just like love.
I know. No, you're very
anyway.
helpful. Yes, you're here for me too. I know. You're going in the You're gonna go in and do the first front of, like, catching, meeting people, and then I will hopefully get the opportunity to meet them too later on.
So I will be there midway. So on Wednesday the 13th is when I'm going to be guest speaking. I'm going to go the day before just to look around and try and meet people and all that. But and it's just because of schedule. Otherwise, I would do more. But and talking about a lot of the things we talked about today, probably more in depth with pop culture and all that, and entertainment media. And
you also have a meet and greet, don't you?
Yeah, there is after the speaking, and I don't know how many people I will be with. We get so many minutes on stage, but there will be meet and greet, and that takes place after that, some point after that. So people can come up into the table, and Julie will be with me. So she'll have her side of the table, I'll have mine, because she'll be talking about White Horse and the White Horse Boutique, which is something that she's passionate about, also, and her art. She does a lot of different. She does the beading Cambodian style.
Wow.
So she's pretty talented. So she'll be there to talk or share and meet people herself.
Okay.
So,
all right.
And that is it. But hopefully, at some point, somewhere between that 9th and the 15th of next week, for anyone that's here in Florida, or if you're coming here, try and get there. It's going to be at the convention center.
Wonderful.
And it's a really great place, centrally located, a good place to get in and out off of International and that. So anyways, hopefully we'll see you there during that time period.
Well, thank you so much, Big Brother, for this wonderful interview. I don't even count this as an interview anymore. This is more like me and you chatting like we always do. Oh, see, I love live shows. There's a phone call.
Yeah. It didn't ring the whole time. I can't believe it. Even if I didn't have it in here, it would still somehow ring. But anyway, sorry about that.
No, that's okay. Well, but thank you so much for coming on. And I will definitely update any of your information. If people, if you have something going on, if you post anything from the Orlando International, I'll share it over to my platform for people to see. I always love to share good things. And I can't wait. So we talk about our projects in the near future.
Oh yeah, and you get me back on here, and we'll talk more, and we'll talk about that also, because that's the other thing I'm working on. So that'll be fun.
All right. It definitely. Right. Well, I want to thank everybody who watched today, or wherever you are today, tonight, or afternoon. But most of all, thank you for supporting me, Sunny Girl, Miss Cindy, and the WuWu show. And I'm not sure when I'm going to have a next show. I should find some time. I'm on summer vacation, so I'll try to find some time to do it sometime in early August. I'll think about it, and I'll have a great topic to share. Last time I shared how much would it cost you to sell your soul.
Ooh.
That was a good. That was I like that. That was a fun combo. So let me say a proper goodbye. Bye, Chris. Bye, everybody.
Bye, Cindy. Bye, everyone.
I will see you all very soon on LinkedIn and Facebook. Bye.